So today we have a 2014 Honda Civic standard key, doing a remote start. We're gonna start by taking everything apart. So I think this should just snap off, I believe. Might be wrong. Yep, this comes out. I'm gonna have to get some panel tool in here. It seems like I gotta snap this out first. Well, actually, you know what? I don't think that comes out. I think this just comes straight out. That pops like that. This should also just pop out. Let's see if I can maneuver this. There we go. Something popped out. All right. Take this clip off over here. Alright, so I'll put this aside. We got one screw right up here. That's the first screw we took off. Put that aside. I don't think there's anything on the sides. Oh, there might be right here on the steering wheel on the sides. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can move the camera. You've got to undo those. Well, put the key in the ignition just till the... Alright, so you take this tab off right here. Just kind of lift that with a screwdriver. And now just take that top piece off. Good. Now under that, you're gonna have a screw right there on each side. You're gonna have to take those off. Alright, there's two screws there. Remember, you just keep the screws kind of joined together. What I like to do is as I take them apart, I kind of I line them up next to each other in the order. So now that that's off, this should just take the key out, and we're just gonna bring this down. This will come off. Alright, beautiful. That comes off. Put that aside. Lift this up. Alright, so we got some room to play. Now, let's see what we got. Where do we want to start? We're definitely going to start here. So, you're just going to click that tab and pull out. This is going to release the main ignition harness. That'll come out. Let me just cut that. Just going to carefully cut this back. Kind of slit this very, very carefully. Man, alright. Piece of advice. This is actually another family car, and I did not bother warming this up. That was dumb on my part. I'm working outside right now, and the weather's not too great. It's probably in the low 40s, so it's cold for sure. But right in here would be perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run it. I'm gonna run all my wires right through there right now. And this is what I mean by kind of getting ahead of the game and knowing where you're going to put the module. Because if you just route everything, it's going to be a pain to know where you're going to put your module. So if you do this sits nice and perfect in there. This sits perfectly in there. So this is where I'm going to leave my module, which is perfect. It's not going to be in the way of anything. All my wires are here, so now I could just make all my connections from here. I can cut whatever I need to length if you know something's too long. So that's gonna be perfect. So let me go get a length for the ground if I'm gonna ground it right here. So let's see if I can route this right through there before I get any crazy. I'm gonna route this right through there. I'm gonna give myself some space just in case I have to pull the module out. I don't want it to be too tight, but very simple. Strip it back. You don't need to strip it back too much. Strip it back. And then put this in the tool. Feed it through. And make sure it's in there. Crimp it down. Perfect. Like that. Tug on it, make sure it's good. Got your self tapper. Get this all nice set up here. And perfect. Alright, so that doesn't have to move. That's nice and neat right there. Perfect. Next. Alright, so now we're gonna go over here and route this along with the factory wiring. So we're gonna basically use the whole length. Oh, maybe I'll shorten it a little bit, maybe. Let me see. This is pretty much gonna take the whole length here. Not really. I could shorten it up a bit. I don't want to be too tight. I'll probably shorten it up a couple inches. So, I have all my instructions here. Alright, so 12 volts is going to be the white on pin 1. Now, there's only one white, but just to make sure, I always like to make sure. Just put that in there, ground this. Yep, that's 12 volts. Good. So, simple enough. We're gonna do this about right here. Right here should be fine. And this is what I mean. On thicker gauges, strips it back beautifully. Now be careful. To me, this is always the most dangerous connection to ground out, so please be careful. So I just stick this right through there. It gives me a nice space in between to put my 12 volts through. And simple as that, just poke it right through. Wrap it around. Beautiful, that's not going anywhere. Plus with the tape, tape it up. And tape it up in the direction the wires are coming from. It just makes life easy. And it gives you, sometimes you don't have much space to play with when you're putting all these covers back. So if you decide to not consider that, you may shoot yourself in the foot at the end, and it's gonna be a pain because stuff's not gonna fit the way it was fitting, and you're gonna have to force things, and that's never good. All right, we're gonna do the starter next. It's gonna be the yellow wire, and it says pin 5, and this lines up with pin 5. Yep. Right there. Split this. Starter wire. Remember, I'm using the system. I'm using an ALCA along with 4105L Avatar remote start. That's the basic 4-button remote start system. Just simple stuff. Nothing crazy, no two-way systems, no GPS tracker, no. Just a nice, simple remote start. Alright, let's go ahead and tape that on. I can barely feel my fingers right now, but hustle's the hustle. It's part of the hustle. Alright. Next, we'll go ahead and do the ignition, which is going to be the blue, pin 2. Yes. Ignition is pin 2 here. Beautiful. Come on. Let me get this. Oh, cow, my freaking fingers. Nice. Right here. Run this right through. Ignition is the pink wire. Right, beautiful. Now we have, we're still in focus. Beautiful. I love when everything stays in focus. Now we're gonna have the accessory. Alright, so we're back. So I accidentally, while prepping my harness, excluded the second accessory. I guess I just went right by that, so I just went and added the second accessory right here. So that's what I'm going to use. So right here. So first accessory is going to be the orange. So if anyone's following me, what happened was, if you're using, let's say, like this similar system in Avatar 4103 or 4105, there's the same thing. You're gonna have a pink and white wire off the main, for the main ignition off the thicker gauge. Gonna be a pink and white that's programmable to, for essentially a second accessory or a second starter. I think it's a second accessory or a second starter you can use it as, or a second ignition. I forget what it is, but for default it is set for a second accessory. So in that case, you know, obviously you would just not cut that wire like I did by accident, and you would just have that pink with white instead of what I did. I just added a wire to it and extended it out because I cut it short because I didn't think I was gonna need it, but I guess, you know, obviously I do need it. So the second accessory is going to be the red, which is going to be this. So where I have my, you know, additional wire that I just routed through, you would connect your pink and white, which I'm pretty sure is already programmed for an accessory. So here's this. Run this right through. Beautiful. And I'm just gonna right through right there. connection's nice and tight. Alright, so that's done. So you can go ahead and plug that back in. Right back there. Clip that in. Hope you saw that. Alright, so that's that. Now I've got this. Alright, so that's that. Now we're gonna go ahead and I'll go and do what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the parking lights. If you're using a similar system like I am, it's gonna be the white wire off the 4105 or 4103, and you have to set the jumper to negative, which is, the way I remember it, is since the plug for it, I don't even have to cut this short, this is gonna be perfect length. So there's 3 pins. If you put the pin, if you set it up so it's closer to the DBI connection, which is the red piece coming out, right, that's right next to it, that's gonna be positive. Opposite side is gonna be negative. So you would set it on the opposite 2 pins, and that would be the negative. You could read the instructions and it'll say the same thing. So negative parking light is gonna be the gray off the headlight switch. So this is gonna be on top. And the headlight switch runs on top. So let me see if I can bring this down. I'll try and show you guys. Alright, so that's the headlight switch right there. We're just gonna have to try and unplug it. It's kind of hard. One hand. I just had it. Alright, I'll get it off right now. Alright, so that's the plug. I stripped it back. You can see it's that bottom. You see I have it basically singled out. That's going to be the parking light wire. Alright, so I just made the parking light connection. That's right here. I'm going to route this through right down here with the rest of this harness. Now I have the final connections I have to make are going to be the ones... Oh, take this off. I didn't even know that was there. Last connections I got to make are going to be off the bypass. So, all my papers here. So this is going to be off, let's see what the plug is. I believe it's going to be this one right here. This is the plug. It's perpendicular, runs that way with the switch up. So it's going to be this plug right here. If I can get it loose. Alright, so we're going to start from the left. We have a yellow, which is going to be pin 2, which should be the ignition. So let's separate this out. Should be the ignition. Now verify this ignition on a 2014 Honda Civic is the yellow. Yeah, so this is going to get split. So I'm going to split this right about there. Split right about there. That's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and strip that. Strip that. And a little more right there. Strip this back. Come on. Alright, so there's our ignition. So now, there is a union here between 2 wires, and that's between the pink and the white-red, which is the vehicle side. So my white-red, you know, closer to the brain, already has the pink attached to it. So I just have to do this right here, just one wire here. I don't have to worry about the pink because they're already connected. Earlier down the line. That's right there. And now the white black is going to be the connector side of the ignition connection. Beautiful. It's going to be right here. Nice. And we're just going to bend that back. Take some tape. Alright, next connection, we're gonna go ahead and do what is gonna be, so it goes in this order: can low, can high. So now our orange white is the can low and our orange red is the can high, and we're gonna put them in that order, which is gonna be the blue pink in that order. Can low, can high, blue pink in that order. Red. So brown, red to pink. Nicely like that. Beautiful. Alright, what's next? Next we're gonna have the data, which is the orange black. And the key data is gonna be 1 over from the can high, 1 over from the pink, which is gonna be this light green. And just to make sure, key data will be the light green. Yep. Just gonna go ahead and strip this back a little bit. Perfect right there. Alright. Can I get this right? Alright. That's that. So now you guys, let me just kind of sort this up a little better. Alright, so now just route these wires out of the way, essentially. So we're gonna put them all together and get a zip tie. Try and make everything as tight as possible, so when you put the steering wheel cover back on, you're not gonna have any issues. Alright, so that's nice and tight. Go ahead and cut this. And we're gonna continue to run this back as much as we can. We're gonna go ahead and first, before we program the ALCA, we're gonna go ahead and program the brain. Alright, so we're gonna program the brain right now. So you're gonna turn the ignition on, then off, hit the programming button 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. It's gonna cycle it through 1. I'm gonna blink twice for menu 2. You're gonna let go and you're gonna go option 1 and hold. So here we're gonna go turn this option off, so we're gonna go to option 3. 1, 2. Okay, next feature number 2. We're gonna go to 24 minutes. Alright, so we just programmed the brain. So basically the settings I used was for feature menu 2, feature 1 I turn off, feature 2 I set to 24 minutes, feature 4 I set to 1 second, feature 5 I set to 2 pulses, and feature 6 I set to accessory, since that pink with the white we're using it as an accessory, not as an ignition in this case. Now I'm gonna go ahead and program the ALCA. So to program the ALCA, see if I can give you guys a better view of this. So you see it's blinking once. That's gonna be data mode, which is the mode that we want. So we're gonna hold. And it's gonna stay solid. Now it's ready to program. Now to program this module, all you have to do is put the key in the ignition. I keep the camera on this. Key in the ignition. Turn it to the on. The LED will turn green. Then it's gonna turn off. Take the key out, hit unlock, and the program is done. So now basically everything's ready to go. I still have to route the antenna, so let me do that.